Hey everyone, welcome back to the Not Sorry podcast. I am your favorite tough love bestie because you need it. We all need that girl, that friend in our life that just kind of gives it to us straight and loves you at the same time. That's me. But yeah, welcome back. Today we have our very first ride into the show. Well, more like I put out into the interwebs in my communities and things like that, asking some questions, getting some feedback, getting some responses, XYZ, just so we have something to share. So, because right now, you can write in via email or via TikTok. That's where I'm at on the socials, not Instagram, because we all know that place is effed. Okay, I'm like out of breath and I did not get my water. That's okay. So we have two responses here and it's mostly like relationship advice, which I'm literally the expert on. Not really, but might as well be. Two relationship ones. We're just gonna dive right in. I'm looking at my notes, making sure I didn't forget anything. Two relationship style ones, so let's go. The title of this one is, Should I Stay with My Boyfriend or Leave Him? Or the subject line, really. Hi, thanks for reading, but I need some relationship advice here. I've been dating my boyfriend for 1.5 years now, and he hasn't been himself lately. Girl, we've been there. He's working almost every day now from 9 a.m. till midnight with a 2 to 3 hour break in between, which he uses for lunch. We don't go on dates anymore, and he seems tired, angry, or distant most of the time. We go to the same school. I'll say you little. But he doesn't even make time for us while we have classes on days he's not working. It has made me question our relationship and make me wonder if I'm just pushing him when he has so much work to do, or just asking for my basic rights. Oh my God. Do I have the right to feel this way? Oh my God. And by the way, my problem is mostly with the quality of our relationship. Thanks again. Babe. Yeah, a lot of people, especially everyone, needs to know. This is my favorite saying in the world is behavior is a language. My favorite, Dr. John Deloney, listen to his podcast. You'll learn so much, and that's where I get a lot of my information from. But his big thing is behavior is a language. So what is he telling you? He doesn't have time for you. He doesn't want to make time for you. He doesn't want to be with you. So yes, you absolutely have the right to feel that way because your feelings are valid. Feelings aren't facts, but they are valid. So if you want someone who makes time for you, it's okay if your partner works a lot and that is normal part of life where you're in a phase of going to school and working a lot and you're just trying to hustle, right? Like we've been there. And I told Mark that the other day. I was like, dude, we have no kids. Not a lot of commitments really. So now's the time because he is starting to feel guilty about having to travel more often and he works late-ish most days. And he was feeling a little guilty and sometimes I act like a child and I'm like, no, I need you now. And, but I told him, I was like, just know that I might be like a little sad or something like that, but don't take it too much to heart. Because we're in this place where we have the opportunity to climb the ladders of our goals and really go after what we want. But at the same time, when I lay a boundary, like, hey, usually Friday nights is like the night we go out, we get dressed up, we go out to dinner, whatever. And usually there's a reservation. There's been a couple times that he's got it close. And I'm like, babe, and running late just stresses me out. So there's been some times where I'm like, can you please be done by 5:00 this on Friday? That would make me feel really good. That would make me really happy, less stressed out. And guess what? He does it. So when your partner hears what you're saying and still doesn't do what you're asking or even care, Yeah, girl, go. You're young enough. There's going to be a lot of time. Oh, and I say this, oh my God, I say this all the time. Well, actually, not all the time. Every person who's been in their 20s or early 20s or a teenager, which is every single one of us, has had an older person come to them and say, oh, you're so young, you have so much time, have fun, take your time, you don't need to rush, there's so much more out there. Like, we've all heard that. And every single time we have heard someone say that, you want to slap them up against the head, right? Like, it's, I still think about that. And, but I hate to say it, but it's true. I'm sorry, ladies. It's so true. If you're in your early 20s or even in your 20s and you feel like the world is crashing down on you, you're in this relationship that you're not so sure about, but you're in a relationship, you know, or I'm kind of getting off the track here, off the rails, but it's important to remember that, yeah, there's people who have the childhood sweethearts. I'm adjusting myself. Who have childhood sweethearts and they stay together since forever, but their behavior was a language that was good and that was healthy for the relationship, right? They made time for each other. They were committed to each other. They had shared goals. They had shared values and morals and ethics and all these things. So if your value and your desire is to have someone that, yeah, it's okay if they work hard and long hours, but know when to be like, hey, you're right. I'm going to take Saturday off. Let's just have fun together. Let's relax together. Let's spend some time together. If they're not doing that and you still have expressed, honey, it's time to lay the law down or just go. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you have that unfortunate conversation of like, not an ultimatum. I hate doing that with like relationships. It's like, if you don't do this by this time, then we're over. No, it's more like, this is what I have been experiencing with our relationship, and it's telling me that you're not into this as I am. And I want to have a clear adult conversation and see if that's true, because this is what I'm feeling. And sometimes feelings, like I said, are not facts. So am I right here or am I wrong here? And hopefully he's still a good person and will say, what you're feeling is correct. I'm just not into this as much as you are. Maybe it's better, I'm definitely sugarcoating it, and it's easier said than done. But you know what I mean? It's okay to have those hard conversations, because instead of wandering around in the clouds, wondering what's going on, what they're thinking, what they're doing, am I being too much? Am I pushing them too much? Am I putting too much pressure on them? Like, I don't know. Like, well, then ask. Like, people avoid, we all do it, I do it, tough conversations or tough questions because you are scared of the answer. Because you know deep down that if you ask them, like, hey, are you still into this relationship or not? Like, what's up? And if they say, yeah, no, bye, you don't want that. But at the same time, you do, because you have an answer and you can move on with your life. And there's billions of men in the world. The dating world is so scary. I don't care. Get over it. Have some fun. Go. You're in school, right? Sorry, I got a phone call. You're in school. Finish your school. Focus on yourself. Have fun. Grow your career. Work hard. Yeah, work some hours. Whatever. You have your answer, and that should be a relief in the long run. Maybe not immediately, but you have your answer. When people reveal themselves to you, whether you like it or not, be thankful, because now you have the answer. You know who you're dealing with, and you know exactly where you stand in that relationship when you ask hard questions. I know it's hard, but if you tell the universe, hey, I need the door to open in a way where I can ask this hard question a little bit easier. Does that make sense? There have been multiple conversations that I had needed to have and knew I needed to have, but didn't have them for quite some time, a long time, short amount of time, but a period of time would go by where I was just waiting for the universe to open the door to be like, oh, this is my chance to ask that question, and it's easy because I was looking for the opportunity. I once was dating a boy, and I knew it needed to end. I knew it wasn't the right guy. But you kind of just like wait around for like the signs or whatever. Anyway, it was May of when did my mom get married? My mom got remarried. Anyway, I was back in town for her wedding, left the boy in Tennessee, and I always have hearts to hearts with my mom. She's such a good mommy. I love her so much. And anyway, this conversation we were having while we're running around doing wedding errands, I came to the realization, like, I'm breaking up with him. Like, I'm going to do it. But I was scared because this guy was a little bit psycho, and you'll hear why in a second. And I was a little scared, so I needed to find and work up the courage to be able to, one, have the conversation and know what to say, that in hopes I can say it in a way that doesn't have him absolutely go bonkers. So that was May. I didn't break up with him until the July, so it was 3 months. And he knew something was up. Like, my behavior was off, and he was trying to be sweet, and like, down to heart, he was an all right guy. He doesn't deserve that. But I will say, regardless of who you are as a person, there's always that soft side that, you know what I mean? That might be too generous for some people out there, but moving on. He knew something was up, and I woke up one morning. It was crazy. I woke up one morning. It was Sunday, the week after 4th of July, and I was like, it was crazy. I literally opened my eyes, and I was like, today's the day. Like, that was it. Like, someone said, hey, Katelynn, go to you need to wake up. Like, okay, wake up. That's how clear it was that the universe was telling me, today's the day. Today's the day. So I woke up before he did, literally packed my car as quietly and as quickly as I could before he woke up. Crazy. And kind of scary, right? And he woke up, and I was like, hey, we need to talk. So we had this long conversation. He was really sad and like trying to get me to convince me to, like, it's only temporary. You're not going to see other guys, right? I'm like, right, sure. Okay. And I took advantage of a friend who offered me her couch to sleep on, and she came over and helped me out a little bit, gathered more of my things. And, yeah, that was, I just asked God to give me that sign and that courage and gumption to do something really, really hard. And he stalked me for like the next 2 weeks. It was wild. He like put a knife in my tire one time, would always like, okay, first I need to say, because of those 3 months where I knew I was going to break up with him, I had gotten over the breakup before it even happened, right? So when we actually broke up, and raise your hand if you've been there. When we actually broke up, I moved on really quickly, at least to him anyway. Like, I jumped right into dating. Like, I was so ready for that relationship to be over, got over. And like I've said in previous episodes, there was relationships one right after the other. Or there's always a couple dudes waiting in line, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. No, it's fine. Whatever. I was in my 20s. And so because he stalked me, he saw that I was seeing a guy and like going out on dates with a guy, and he would text me from like odd numbers, and like would text me saying like, I saw you at blah, blah, blah. And he would be at this restaurant. One time he was at a restaurant when I was out on a date with a guy. And as I was leaving the restaurant, I see him on the patio. I'm like, fucking A. And he like made a scene, like flipped over a chair, and I was like frozen in time. Oh, hey, Walter. Frozen. I was so scared, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I went home, and I knew he knew where I had lived, because sadly I had to ask him to help me move into this new place that I had gotten. I know, big mistake if a guy is super sketch, and he had gotten a hold of, because I had no one else to help me. Like, I really didn't. And I'm surprised he did. Well, no, I'm not surprised, because his angle was he got a hold of my phone, and some goddamn reason I did not have a passcode on it at the time. And I'm convinced he put a tracker on my phone, because there were things that he would text me, like knowing where I was when he shouldn't. Like, he does not have that much time, unless he took some time off of work, to follow me from dawn till dusk. Like, there was no way. Like, I was going on a trip with a guy to Florida. Like, we were driving down there, and he texted me while I was in like Georgia driving. He's like, where are you going? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God. I tried taking the phone to like the Geek Squad at Best Buy, and they're like, I don't really see. They just like looked at my phone, swiped through it a little bit. I'm like, there's nothing, like, you idiots. I thought this is your expertise. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. But there's been some women who have gone through much worse things after having difficult conversations, but I am here to say that it does get better. Don't be dumb. Stay safe, but don't be afraid to have tough conversations, because that leads you to where you want to be in life. Okay. And like I said, the Dr. John Deloney show on YouTube and his podcast will give you a lot of great tools and resources on how to have those conversations and give you the right language to hopefully get to where you want to go. All right. Woo. Almost out of breath on that one. All right, let's go to the next one. Relationship advice as well. The subject line of this one is, how do you get men to commit to you? Oh, girl. Okay, short and sweet. Hey, thanks for reading, but I am always very lonely in the relationships I am in. I am full of self-doubt. Every man I have been with eventually makes me booty call material and takes it no further. Promises unfulfilled. I finally thought I met my first boyfriend. And he has hit me with the news he's moving out of the country. Oh my God, classic. So all the months spending getting to know him was just fulfilling a order on his end of the bargain while he waits to move. Is there something men look for in long-term partners specifically? Is it the personality of the man himself? I need help. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know how old you are. Oh man. First of all, just don't. We've talked about this in like other episodes where like, babe, it really starts with you. If you want to attract the right man, it's time to look in the mirror. Oh, I know that's really hard to hear. I know. But with all the love of my heart, if you are experiencing men who are just using you as a booty call, there is something that they're seeing that you're not seeing about yourself. I hate to say it. You're probably a really beautiful woman with really, really great qualities and great personality. Like, I'm not saying that sarcastically, but there is something that they see that the certain type of man, that booty call type man, is seeing in you that's attracting them to you, and you're not seeing what they're seeing. Okay? So it's going to take some time for you to kind of self-reflect and see like, okay, what is that? Like, I am relationship material, I want to be relationship material or better relationship material, right? It's going to take time for you to self-reflect, do some personal growth, and figure out like, why is it that I'm attracting the wrong guy? So it's not about just getting any man to commit to you, because you don't want that. If you lasso some random guy into your little commitment ring, it's not going to be well. It's not going to go the way you think. It's not going to go the way that you hope, because they don't want to be there. Do you really want to convince a man to commit to you? I don't think so. You want them to want that, right? That's the goal. So I would take a beat and Just don't. If you're okay with a booty call once in a while, I know I was okay with like a booty call every so often just to kind of take the edge off, then yeah, maybe hang on to a few numbers, but don't expect anything more of it. Don't hope for anything more. Know exactly where you stand. And just take some time for yourself. I know that's the stupidest advice. No one likes to hear it. No one wants to hear it. But if you want to attract the right man, do some inner work. Read a book. I didn't go to therapy. I've done a ton of personal growth without having to go to therapy because expensive, right? And thankfully, thank God, I grew up in a home that dealt me a really good hand when I was born. Not perfect, right? But not so bad that I need therapy in adulthood. But everybody needs to grow. Everyone needs to evolve for the better, including you. Okay. And so what I did was just listen to some podcasts that I thought was good and that was helpful, helped me grow. I think I recommended one a little bit ago. And he also has a book called Living the Non-Anxious Life or Non-Anxious Life, something like that. Highly recommend. So read some books. If you're not a book reader, I know I said this before, get over it. Or do audiobooks, whatever you need to do to have some personal growth. I will recommend another book. I think I have recommended this before, but it's a great starter book for personal development if you're trying to get into that genre, but it's just kind of, you don't want to feel like you're eating your vegetables all the time, right? That's what I describe self-help books to be, is like eating your vegetables. A great place to start is Jen Sincero, her book called You're Badass. Great book. It's funny, it's witty, but also really helps you to kickstart that self-reflection process and getting curious about who you are, why the world is responding to you the way that it is, things like that. I will also recommend the Enneagram. Girl, I know so much about the Enneagram. It's not even funny. Used to coach on it a little bit. I highly recommend learning your type. When I learned my type, I felt the weight of the world off my shoulders because my type, for those of you who do know the Enneagram, I'm type 8, which is on paper, a very masculine personality and does very well in the world. But from a female, and I grew up in church too, right? They don't like that kind of stuff. So learning about the Enneagram really, really helped me understand who I am at my core, why I do what I do, and just getting more and more curious about myself while also giving myself the amount of grace, love, and compassion that I need in order to get to know myself better. And that's what I recommend for this lovely lady who wrote in, and anyone else listening, is how important it is to grow for the better. Because if you don't like what the world is offering you, the most that you can control is yourself. Okay? Hashtag facts. Okay, that was wrong. Okay, to end the episode, we are going to dive into my buzzkill segment. It is basically a segment where I get to bitch about something that ruined the vibe. Ruined my vibe anyway, because I love to bitch about things. Anyway, so the other day, Mark was out of town. He was in Miami. And like I said, Friday nights are usually our date nights. I look forward to it, especially right now I'm in a calorie deficit. So Friday nights are the night where we have a fun meal. I don't have to track it. Don't have to worry about the calories. And it's my cheat meal, right? So he was gone. I'm like, I still want to go out. So I went to a local restaurant that I walked to. So, oh my God, it was so good. This pasta that I had was probably one of the best pasta I've ever had in my life, but it was drowned in butter. Like, it was swimming in butter. So that's hard to fuck up, right? Of course it's going to taste good. Anyway, that was really good. Then I went a couple blocks over to a chocolatier, but at the nighttime, they also sell like chocolate truffles, like gourmet chocolate truffles, and they do a an absinthe and chocolate truffle pairing. So it's an absinthe bar, and it's like this big. Okay, it's super small. Love it. I was sitting there and I was like, I really want to hang out with a friend. I want to like get a glass of wine with a girlfriend at this other new place that just opened in my neighborhood. It was a wine bar that just opened up, and I really wanted to go, but I was like, I kind of want to hang out with a girl. So I texted my girlfriend who lives very close. She just had a baby too. And I was like, do you need to get out? Let's get a glass of wine. She's like, yes, I'll be there. So she met me at the absinthe bar and had a drink. Then we walked over to the wine bar. And it was in this house. So this neighborhood that I live in is really cute, old-timey, gorgeous houses, like brick, cobblestone sidewalks, so cute. And a lot of businesses and restaurants are inside these like old homes, including this wine bar. I was so excited. I'm such a wino. Excuse me, I need my water. I'm such a wino. So I was really excited for this. We walk in and it was wall to wall packed. I know it was a Friday night at like 8 o'clock probably. Yeah, like 8 o'clock. Excuse me. And it was packed. It was so loud. And it was a little bit bigger on the inside than I had thought, but still small. And I'm like, this is so stupid. What do you think of when you hear the phrase wine bar? You think this cozy little, like, comfortable, quiet library, like a wine bar, not a bar. Anyway, I was so annoyed, and I looked at her. I was like, do you just want to go back to like the other place? Because I want to sit and like talk to you. If it was just Mark and I, there was one seat at the bar that was open. If it was just Mark and I would have sat down and we would have just had some glasses of wine and like stared at each other and tried to talk like loudly, like, but no, I'm with a girlfriend. I was like, so we just went back to this other place and, had some more wine. So yeah, that I did not like. So I'm going to go back still because I do love a good wine, and maybe not, during peak hours. So lesson learned, right? All right. Well, thanks for listening. That is the episode. If you want, actually, you should be supporting me because I'm trying to quit my full-time job. Please rate and review and recommend. I actually had a really awful day at work the other day at my 9 to 5. And it was one of those days where it was like, fuck it all. I'm done. I just can't anymore. I got to do something different. And so I started to think about the podcast. I'm like, I got to make this work. This is it. I'm just going to hustle and blah, blah, blah. So we're getting some more episodes out more often. In the hopes to achieve my dreams of quitting my 9 to 5. So thank you in advance. You could also find me on TikTok too if you want to see the fun little clips there. But anyway, thanks again for listening. Until next time, peace out.